Flosstube. My name is Becca, and I am SamBrie Stitches here on Flosstube and Instagram. And this is a very special edition of Interview with the Flosstuber. Today, I'm excited to be here with Kia B and Nathan, who is tech guy in the Hive. Not only to celebrate my 1-year Interview with a Flosstuber anniversary, but we're also going to get to know them better. So I was really excited when they said yes, because they're going to be my 1-year celebration of doing these interviews. I'm really excited to kind of get to know them better. Everybody is probably familiar with their channel, but it's under Kia B. They bring so much goodness to the community. They're always very uplifting, inspirational, informative, and also enabling. I think we're all enabling in our videos. But I feel very honored to spend some time with them today and get to know them a little bit better. So I'll link their information down below if you are like hiding under a rock and not familiar with their channel. So how are you guys both doing today?
Good. I don't know if I've been complimented that much.
I know, my goodness, I'm so flattered.
It's all true. It's all true.
I'm more excited that you're celebrating your 1-year anniversary for interviewing. That's impressive.
That's so exciting.
So I'm glad we can do this together.
Fun. It's been so much fun.
Yes, that is so exciting.
So we're happy. We're tickled pink or
honored.
Tickled gray to be here, and
you're matching.
And we're just happy. Yeah.
This was totally not on purpose, and I was dressed first, just so we're clear.
And it's in the recording now, so it's documented.
Yeah, it's documented. No, we're really happy to be here, and just thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. All right, well, let's jump into some questions. The first one is, why did you start a Flosstube, and were there any particular motivations?
So we actually take it back a little bit. I was sitting in our living room, and of course our kids at that time were pretty young, and I was definitely drowning in mom duties. And I was like, I just like need an outlet. And of course I had quilting as a hobby and stitching a little bit and, you know, scrapbooking and stuff like that. But I was texting my my good friend at the time, and I said, you know what? I would really like a place to go and drink wine by myself and quilt. And it turned into this. I was opening a shop, and it was going to be, you know, a winery / quilting, you know, place that people could rent and come and go. And I texted him, and I was like, this is happening. And he goes, you know what, let's scale it back a little. Love your enthusiasm, but let's scale it back to something more attainable. So we started Kia B in April of 2017.
Wow.
And we're getting ready. Well, as you're seeing this, we've just celebrated our 4-year business anniversary, which is really exciting.
That's awesome.
And so we kind of talked about it, and we created this business that is multifaceted. We get this question all the time because we talk about our business anniversary or our business on our channel, and people are like, what kind of business do you have? So we just have this multifaceted thing where, yes, we have a YouTube channel. We started our YouTube channel as quilting tutorials, but I do custom quilts for people. We do, like, I make quilts and sell them. I quilt things for people and stuff like that. So we do have a business. It's multifaceted. We had done quilting tutorials exclusively and unboxings for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Before in mid 2018, I looked at him and I was like, hey, you know, I think it would be really fun if we like started doing a little Flosstube. So we had watched a few people, of course, Pam and Steph, we had watched them, and I was like, this girl has to be my best friend. And so we had watched a little bit of them and several others that were around at that time. And I said, you know, I'm stitching as my hobby and I'm quilting as my job, and I kind of want to merge the two. And so then we started filming Flosstubes, I think in May of that year, and just really enjoyed it. And so that's kind of how our Flosstube channel started. So
really, you left us like a part out. So what she said was, let's do this together. She came to me and said, hey, I'm going to do Flosstube.
Yes.
I said, cool, I'm behind it. I'll film, I'll do all that stuff. And then it's like, yeah, but you're gonna have to start stitching.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like a group participation thing. Like I have to like do a thing too with it now.
Yes.
So it actually started, that kind of gave her an idea because I did an unboxing on my own.
Oh my word, y'all.
My first ever unboxing. She was I don't,
Oh my word.
if y'all have been with us for a minute, you'll understand this unboxing. So I don't know anything about quilting. I don't know anything about the notions. I don't know anything. I was just here to support behind the scenes, behind the camera.
Okay.
She was out of town with our, she was out of town with our family. And I had to work or something just because that's just how work is. And I did the unboxing by myself.
I woke up to a new video on her channel
Yes.
and I was like, what is this? Because I have not filmed a single thing. And with unboxings, it's important to get them out as fast as you can.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, spoiler alerts. And I was like, I didn't film anything before we left. What is this? And this face appears and people ate it up. These little, you know, because we also know a lot about YouTube analytics, and in our analytics, our age range of viewership is like 55 and older is the majority of the people who watch our channel. And these little women love him. And so it just kind of like snowballed from there. So I'm like, fine, if you want to do that, then you're going to start stitching and we can start a Flosstube together.
And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And again, it's just another part of our business that we want to do. And I think you said it best. We want to just also create a great environment that people feel inclusive.
Yep.
And not exclusive, and be positive and be that positive change that we all need.
And kindness.
And kindness, right? We've learned a lot of things a lot of years. So that's how our Flosstube started.
Long story short, that's kind of how it started.
That's amazing. That's really, so it's kind of a celebration for both of us, this interview, because your anniversary as well. So that's pretty cool. Perfect timing.
Yes, it is.
And I love that you started stitching, but I'm gonna tell my husband this story because we're gonna see if I can get my husband to start stitching. I've been working on it.
If I can convert another husband to start stitching, there's gonna be a count in the background somewhere to how many husbands I've done converted. Like, it's okay, I promise.
Yes,
I'm gonna work on him. We'll see.
We were at market last year, and
you were teaching class.
Yeah, I was teaching a class, and I didn't know her at the time. Of course, now we know them as Lord and Lady of Stitchshire, but Sarah had walked up and she said, I want you to stay right here because I would like for my husband to meet you so he will start stitching. And then there we go. It just happens. So
that was
awesome.
That night. Yeah. So I think, I don't know what intimidation, but just stitch what you love. Stitch whatever is your jam, is what Park Hopper Bart said in his. Like, do what you want to do. And
you've definitely stitched some things that are typical.
Yeah, so, not traditional.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we need more couples bonding over stitching, and that was amazing. We'll see what happens with me. He's a bit stubborn. All right, well, let's move on to the next question. And this is a subscriber question, and they were just wondering if you had a blog.
So we have had a blog. In the past, we opened a whole website to where every video tutorial I came out with, I was also doing written instructions, because I'm very well aware as a homeschool mom that people learn very differently. And I wanted to offer both of those options. And so in our 4-year plan here, as we're celebrating our 4-year anniversary, in the next year, we would like to get that blog up and going again, because I still very much feel like that's a great avenue to share.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll be coming back soon.
Nice.
Yes.
Another example of how you want to include everybody. You guys do an amazing job of that, for real. So
we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a fun one. I kind of like to learn the history of how you learned to stitch and how long you've been stitching.
Oh man. So I'm a newbie, and I'll own it. I'm very, very novice in this in the stitching world. I started in 2018. You guys saw my first piece, which is Merry Christmas, My Dear. I wasn't very smart on going chalkboard black. Ada. I'm like, yeah, that looks cool. That looks great. It gives it like a night ambiance with 2 deers and a forest background. And she's like, don't do it. Don't do it as your first piece. Don't do it. You'll hate it. Don't do it. I've got a light board underneath me. I'm like standing doing by like a window, and I'm like, I hate this. But that was first of many pieces that we grew a relationship at that time. And it was very important for me to stitch that piece. And I learned a lot through that piece, and I still have that piece. And, that's the first piece I did. And I started whipping them out really quick after that. I was doing like 2 or 3 projects within like 6 months.
Yeah, he's got so many more finishes than I do.
Wow.
So that's where I started in 2018, when we, shortly discussed, hey, this is what we're going to do as a Flosstube together. And I'm like, okay, let's go and get these projects done.
Yeah, exactly.
But I learned from her, really. She taught me, she had the patience and the nerves of steel to bear with me, not just in marriage, but in teaching a new person how to stitch. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. My great grandmother and my grandmother sat around and stitched. And so I learned at a very young age. I've shown this in our Flosstube before, but I brought it to share with you too.
Oh,
I
cool.
actually have my very first stitchings. I have 2 of them actually. So this one is just embroidery. It's not very, let me see if I can hold this up here. It's not very, it's not cross stitch really, but my grandmother showed me how to stitch something.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just a verse that says, "In everything give thanks." And it's not finished because that's my MO. But then I just really enjoyed that. And I had a series of bookmarks like that with, verses and things that they taught me. And then in Girl Scouts, I was like, oh, there's a patch for cross stitching. Let's do that because I like it so much. So this is forever my duck whip. He will never get finished, but that is the very first cross stitch piece that I started. And so I just got this back from my mother this year. And so I was so excited to get it back. She's had it in a safe forever. And so I was so excited to get that back and have it to show, because who can say they still have some of their stitching from when they were little. So, and I've just been on and off stitching since then. I have arthritis, my hand's pretty bad. So I go in waves because it's hard to stitch, and a lot of people can attest to that. And so, but I tell you what, there's just so much to stitch. I'm like, it's gonna happen.
I know. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm just glad market's only once a year.
True.
Yeah.
Because
Me too.
we'd be in a lot of trouble.
I know, but designers are always rolling out amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you could just bundle them all for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. I just stopped the other day and bought a whole bunch of patterns that I did not need because I don't know when I'm going to stitch them. So,
yes. Keepsakes called me yesterday and they were like, hey, here's your bill and we have a package coming to you. And I was like, oh my word.
Hey, we got to keep those designers in business though. We got to keep them designing. So
and
exactly.
And that's part of our niche, is that we want to come along with designers and we come along with LNSs, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in .coms. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I've got a part in my heart that are brick and mortar stores, right? And to help with designers that, they don't have the ability to do a bunch of advertising and things like that. And we're trying to come alongside of them. So, and
there's just something about being able to go into a brick and mortar and just browse. It's so different than just looking at them online and seeing those models stitched on the wall. They're just, there has to be more opening up. That's what I want. Like, I need one more closer to me. I think the closest one was like an hour and a half. And I just went there yesterday, actually, for a shopping trip. But there's just something
about an hour and a half from us. And it's whew.
It's dangerous.
It is.
We got to keep those brick and mortars going.
Yes, exactly.
So this next question is also one of my favorites. It is, what is your favorite project that you've stitched?
How much time do we have? How much time do we have, Becca?
Yes. I know, right?
So I'll do mine first because mine's pretty short. But this is a pillow that I made, and it is a friend overlooks your broken fence to admire the flowers in your garden. And I just think, like, I love this. This is a piece that I had seen and text Stephanie and was like, I need to stitch this. She said, I actually have that in my stash. Do you want to start a SAL together? So we created the My BFF SAL.
Okay.
And we have continued to go. And this was the very first one. And just the sentiment behind this, that we both come from such broken lives beforehand. And the fact that we can look past each other's brokenness and still form such a bond. And so this is like my favorite finish ever. It sits on my desk so that I can just see it all the time because I just love it so much. So we've continued a SAL. We've done other ones and continue to do them, but that one is my favorite finish.
your friendship shines through in both of your different videos when you guys are talking about each other, and well, your friendship group, but you and Steph, it definitely shines through. It's an amazing friendship. That's
a little sappy, but
oh my goodness. Pam and I are strong too. I just want to make sure everyone knows that Pam and I are really good friends. Hi, Pam. So no, so I didn't know this until I started prepping for this interview, is that I'm an emotional stitcher. And I'll kind of elaborate that each piece I do represents a friendship that I've created or strengthened or something like that. For example, one of my first, and this is not the design piece, this is not the piece that I did for Sue Hillis, but I started doing a Sue Hillis chart, man, it seems like so long ago.
Yeah, I know.
And then soon after we did that, we were commissioned to do a model stitching for her.
Oh, wow.
And she's such a sweet lady. If you haven't met Sue Hillis, she's full of wisdom and spunk, and she is just a nice, fantastic lady. This other piece that I have, if y'all know this is Yonder by Hilda from Liz Matthews. Met her now 2 years ago at market when we were teaching. Her very first market, our very first market teaching and going. I love this piece, and the relationship that we have with her is just blossomed in something super wonderful. And I'm gonna butcher this up because I don't know who this is from.
Amy Broken.
Thank you, Amy Broken.
Oh, there you go.
It actually says hello Saturday, I love you, but I changed it to hello Friday because at the time you were doing Friday night stitches with Ale and Ada. Yep. Yeah, with Ale and Ada. Every Friday night they would come over, we would have like a dinner together, and we would just stay up and just kind of stitch all night. So these pieces mean a lot, just because the relationships we've formed in the last several years. But Ale and Ada, we've known them since high school, so that's
we
want to do that. And then this is a gift that I have not given yet. Yeah, I know. This is all those Link and Zelda fans there. I got this idea. I saw this pattern it was 8-Bit Stitcher, Kevin, now it's Arcade Stitcher now, but I saw it on his Instagram. I'm like, dude, I've got to have it. So I'll be fully finishing this one pretty soon. But but all the pieces I do has some type of meaning behind it. I've got an All Souls band that I'm not going to finish on purpose because I started in 2020, like January 2020, and finding alabaster floss when everything was going, can't even find floss at the time. I'm just going to finish it the way it is, unfinished.
I think you have like 2 bands left.
I've got 2 bands.
And it's par for the course for the year. I think it's just a story and a
perfect.
Yeah. And I actually got this idea from Park Hopper Bart, because he did a smaller piece, or he was working on it and didn't a lot of the amount of stitches he was going to do on it. So this is what that is right here. And I did not finish the last 2 bands.
But it looks finished anyways. But I like the meaning behind it, though. It does.
Yeah, the story that is there.
Yes. So but that's why. That's how I am.
I love. It's so funny that you were talking about your pieces having memories, because just today my daughter had an appointment this morning, and I was just filling in a piece that I was working on, and I sat there and I was thinking that this piece has been with me through like some of their performances. It's been to the coast with me and my husband. You know what I mean? Like that piece has been different places. And so when I look at it, I'm going to remember that. And I love that about our stitching, or about any, project that you're crafting. If you bring it with you, I love the meaning and the sentiment and the memories that are attached to it. So I love that you said that.
Yes.
That just amazing.
I think we may have coined something there, Becca. I think we may have coined something there. So we're going to have to roll with it.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys enjoy most about stitching?
I enjoy the process the most. And I think it is because it does carry us through so many different things. Our channel is very aware that we have a son that struggles pretty difficultly with medical issues. And we too have like this carried me through this incident or this surgery or this process, or this carried me through when I was really struggling in homeschooling, or the decision to do so, or this carried me through 2020, whatever that is. And so I think I enjoy the process. And as you're picking up stitches, you're remembering the things that you're going through at that time and you're reflecting on those. So I think I'm a process stitcher for sure. And that's probably why I don't have very many finishes, but yeah.
Is that the reason?
Sure, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that, yeah.
I think part of me is the people. I think it's one thing that I picked up as a hobby and as a joke that's just like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. But the relationships that we have formed and forged and strengthened over just cross stitching. And who would have thunk that I'm, in my, young 20s.
Oh, okay.
That I have all these wonderful friendships over a needle and thread, right? And how crazy it is that we can go from different walks of life and not necessarily agree with every single thing that's going on, but we can put that all aside and be like, okay, this is what we're gonna talk about cross stitching, and I think I do it for the love of people. I think
I love that.
I love how people to just have different designs, and I'm like, that's great, I won't stitch it, but I love it to the point like I gotta have the whole collection. And just to be encouraging of others that come from different thought processes, it's just wonderful. So that's why I like it.
So around 2018, like right after StitchCon, because of all of like this need for just community and things and bonding through this, I kind of had this idea where I sat in a room of 300 people stitching, and I thought the thing that binds us the most is like cross stitch. And there are so many different walks of life in one room, and we all have different opinions and we all have different feelings, and we're all growing and learning in this process. I think we should harness that and do something with it. So I texted a few people afterwards and said, does this exist in the cross stitch world? And because a little bit of it exists in the quilting world, and got a resounding no, but this would be awesome. And so their birthed Common Threaded Stitcher. And so I had this crazy idea that we would take a month at a time and we would post on Instagram every single day using different prompts, if you will. So one day it might be a prompt about what is your favorite designer. And so then all these designers were getting promoted through all these different avenues. And, one day you might have, what's your favorite snack? So it wasn't completely stitching related,
right?
So that you could find this common thread between all these people. And I had messaged a team of people. We had an original 10 that I messaged and said, do you want to be a part of this group? And they were all like, this is a fantastic idea. And so I made all these graphics and we did all this stuff. And this was in August of 2018. And the very first day we broke the internet. We literally broke Instagram, and we were all like, oh my word, like people are eating. And after the first week, we all kind of had a check-in meeting, and everybody was like, we weren't ready for all this work. Because, we were reposting, and we had set this precedent that we were going to repost whoever posted and everything. And I have goosebumps right now talking about it, because I think that it started from a very place where I want to enable conversation and progression, and I want to enable bonding between something that we all love so much. And so with that, we've done a 1.5 years of Common Threaded Stitcher, and it's just been amazing. And I love to hear stories of how people met other people, or they strengthened their bond because they didn't know this person likes Twizzlers and that person likes what's the gross one?
Red vines?
Red vines.
What? No. Red vines are better.
I'm a red vine person, by the way. So that's why she knew.
Yep.
So it's just 31 days of really fun prompts that we use Instagram just to post. And you post a picture. And we had an 80s hair day that first month of like, post your favorite 80s picture. And the amount of people that had, the perm with the huge and the hairspray. But the amount of people who posted baby pictures was hilarious to me. I was not prepared for baby pictures. And I was like, wow, definitely went a different direction than I thought it was going to go. And so it's just really fun. And I think that's what we both kind of enjoy most about stitching, is that we get to meet so many different people and we get to bond with them and we get to share opinions and ideas and all of that. So
yeah, it's been a wild ride, and for something that we didn't think was gonna, like, it didn't matter to us if it took off or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's just fun.
It was just one of those things that we went to StitchCon and we're like, wow, this is kind of cool. What if we do this on a bigger scale? Hey, I didn't know that it went to this level, and I'm really happy people are enjoying it. I mean, that's the point of it, right? But I feel like I need to take the month off from work.
It's
because
work,
it is a full-time job, posting and reposting and things like that. And I don't say that begrudgingly. I say that with joy. Like, it's awesome. So it's really good to have those people that helped us and supported us and was involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you and the team of people, because of Common Threaded Stitcher, I have a story to share because of it, since you had brought up that hashtag. Because of it, I've become best friends with somebody whom I've never met, and who I probably would never have met, because she's in Canada, like basically clear across the other side of, the US, but on the opposite side in Canada. And we call each other long distance stitchy besties, because we message each other. We have an insane amount of stuff in common that we never would have known had it not been for Common Threaded Stitcher. So, thank you. And I'm sure that there are millions of stories like that for everybody else, because that was an amazing idea, and I'm sure it brought so many people together. It means a lot to me, because we're really close and I love her to death. And someday we are going to meet when we're able to, cross borders and everything. We have plans. But thank you guys, and thank you to the team that also helped you out, because it's amazing. It really is.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love to hear those stories. And honestly, the whole team just did such a fantastic job. And we had a team of people who weren't just Flosstubers, and they weren't just cross stitchers. They have tons of hobbies, and some of them aren't really on social media other than Instagram. And so just to hear those stories makes my heart warm so much, because I just love it.
Becca, I do have something. I didn't see that there's gonna be tears in this interview. So I don't appreciate that.
Well, I apologize, but I also say thank you.
No, good night, lady.
Yeah,
yes, you're welcome.
I have no words. It's absolutely amazing idea, and it just brought the community just together. I love it. So thank you. All right, no more crying, no more tears.
Okay, thank you, Becca.
No more tears.
We'll move on. We're gonna get out of stitching a little bit and kind of get to know you both a little bit better. And what's your favorite genre of book or movie?
Oh man, you're gonna get comments on this. My favorite book / movie in my whole life is Matilda. I know the beard gives it away. I know the bald head gives it away. The video game stitching, but Matilda is my heart is all about that book and that movie, and
that's awesome.
It's wonderful.
It's fun. Our kids are reading it right now.
Yes.
And so it's fun to go through that with them too. I think the chocolate cake is probably the best.
How could you not miss the chocolate cake? A spoiler alert if you haven't watched it or read the book, shame on you. But I think it's one of those examples of my growing up that nothing was tainted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything was, for the most part, pure. And there wasn't adulting in it, and there's nothing like grown up stuff. It was just like, it was such a pure and fun movie and a book to read, and it was just like, I remember that, and trying to pass that on to our kids is very important to us. So that's my favorite genre in book.
I would say my favorite show, I don't watch a ton of movies. I don't like to sit for that long. If I have stuff like that, like when I'm stitching, I'll watch Flosstube or quilting videos or whatever, but I love Mad Men. I have watched Mad Men as a series like 3 times. I love the fashion. I love the colors. And while I don't agree with a lot of the ideas that are in that show, I love that, I don't know, that kind of time frame, and that how all the women wore dresses all the time, and they had perfect homes, what it looked like and whatever. Again, while I don't agree with everything in that show, I do love that kind of fashion sense, I guess.
That era.
That era, yes.
Yeah,
And
I'm
so
I watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
of it, so I
it's hard to get into. A lot of people say I watched a couple episodes,
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it. It starts out really slow, but it gets in there.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give it another shot. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But, yeah. So what fictional place would you most like to go to?
Oh, I'm answering this one first. No,
We actually have, I'm not gonna say it. But we agreed on it.
Yes.
It's the same thing for both of us.
Yeah.
You wanna go ahead and say it?
Yes. So we were trying to think of like, not Hogwarts, not Disney, not whatever else. We were trying to think, and I looked at him today and I said, Schitt's Creek. I would 100% go to Schitt's Creek. I would live there. I would feel at home. I love it so much. And so as soon as I said that, he was like, man, I was like, nope, no, I take it. So we kind of both agree here that we would love to
I'm
be.
surprised you're not wearing your sweatshirt.
I know, I do have a Rose Apothecary sweatshirt
Oh,
that I made myself. Yeah.
Oh, I love that show. Oh my god.
I do too.
That is awesome.
It's so funny. It is so funny.
We had gone shopping, my oldest daughter and I, and the lady at the register had a Ew David mask on. I was like, I love your mask. It was so
That's
cool.
funny. Yes, we say "Ooh, David" about 10 times on our house a day.
Oh,
like it's just a funny show.
Yes.
I like it.
It's a good break from reality.
Yes. I think it would
Exactly.
just be so much fun to just be like neighbors in the motel with them, hanging out.
I know.
For sure.
I know.
Yeah. So this is a fun one. If you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. All right. So I love stitching. I would love to stitch all day, but I also like smoking meat. Like
You get along with your
that's my
husband.
thing. But if I can smoke meat and not smell like I'm smoking meat while I'm cross stitching, that would be great too. Because if we can figure that out, I would be a very productive guy. Because I don't want my stitching to be all smoky and all that stuff. It may smell good, but I don't want it to be staining and things like that.
It'll
But
have memories attached to it.
Yeah.
Very smelly one.
Yeah, open it up, you're like, yes, that's hickory and applewood. With a bit of apple cider in it. Yes.
Right.
He is very good at smoking meat.
Oh,
Anyone who has visited our home knows how good he is at smoking meat.
I'll spend 12 hours looking and making sure that the meat's correct. Everyone else can do side dishes, but I'll take care of the meat part. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think for me, as corny and Sunday school answer as this sounds, I love stitching with people. Like I don't love stitching by myself. I do it because I like stitching, but I'm just like in a happy place when I'm stitching with someone else, even just one more person.
Yep.
And so I think just a day where we just have multiple people lounging and stitching and hanging out sounds perfect to me.
Yeah. I miss those days so much. Oh my gosh.
I know it.
Yesterday, actually, I met up with somebody again who I've never met before. She just happened to reach out because she saw me on Flosstube and lives an hour and a half away. So we met at a stitchy shop and did a whole day. And then we just stitched at Starbucks. And let me just say how it just lifted my spirits, because I see people on Zoom, we do the Zoom meetups and all that kind of stuff, but there is something about spending time in person. So I miss those days so much.
I know.
Oh
I know. It's just so nice to be able to sit in the same room with someone who enjoys the same thing as you do.
And usually, pre whatever this is, pre-pandemic, during the summer and springtime and fall, we open our house and have people coming out of town to come in and just stay a weekend or a week or with us. And man, I do miss that.
Stephanie and I will sit up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Pam came downstairs one night and I felt like we were in high school getting in trouble because she was like, girls, it's so late. And I was like, yes, Mom. But there's just something about being in the same room and sharing the same, it's just
good.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that you don't realize how much you take for granted until it's taken away. And that is definitely one of them for sure. So
yeah. Yep.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but do you have any other hobbies besides cross stitch?
keeping my sanity is a hobby.
Yeah, I think that's for us all.
Yeah, it used to be a part-time job and now it's a full-time job.
Yeah, 100%.
On doing that. But no, it's just spending time with people and cooking for people and serving people and just have the same, like I said earlier, like a piece of thread and floss is what connects us together, and we can just establish a friendship from there, and then it grows, and we can have those amazing discussions and things like that, and opinions. And but I mean, if I can do that as a hobby every day, that'd be awesome.
Right.
I think, I very much view quilting as my job now. And so while I would say it is a hobby that I get to do as a job, I do view it as a job now. So it's definitely moved out of the hobby stages. But I am a huge planner person. I actually brought my stack to show you. So I have quite the stack of planners.
What? Oh my gosh.
So I've got, I don't know, I love pen and paper. I love planning things out in my head, my life, my homeschool, my job, everything just makes more sense and goes so smoothly when I can be organized. And so I've got like a daily planner. I've got like an overall family planner. And then of course I have Jen Lee's cross stitch planner because it's amazing. And so I have that on my iPad now and I just go with it. So I would say planning is probably a hobby for me.
Nice.
Yes.
I have tried that. I have bought so many different planners to try and I just can't do it. So that's awesome. You're very organized for sure.
Yes, when she's like, "Hey, I'm buying another planner," I'm like, "We're buying another planner? We already have like 4."
Hey, but the thing is, at least she's using them though, because I probably have
planners
that I'm not using. So justifiable right there for so
there you go.
This is a fun one. It's how would your friends describe you? But I'm also curious on how you guys would describe each other, if you want to answer that.
That's actually what we were thinking about.
Yeah, so that was really
here. Cool.
Yeah, that was our goal here, is that instead of describe how our friends would describe us, we would just describe each other and get all mushy and gross.
Get mushy.
Oh, we are?
Oh, you better change your description words right now.
Yeah, let me write some stuff down now. No, she is the most creative person I've ever met in my life. She is a person that you can lean on. She is a person that if you ask her to help you be held accountable, she will, with joy. She's a person that it does things out of love, and she's willing to help anybody that wants or needs help. And she's always a phone call away. She's always a text message away. If you're friends with her, she's thinking about you for sure. So it's just one of those things that you just know that she's just a loving person all around. And for her to take a chance on me and we've known each other since we were 7, taking a chance on our relationship to grow and be married to each other and have wonderful kids with each other. It's an amazing partner to have.
Wow. You've known each other since you were 7?
Yeah. We have.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
We have.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. And to think about that, we have kids, sons that are older than 7, and I'm like, by this point we would have already known our person.
Wow. Mind blown right there. Whew.
Yes. What about that no tears thing about this interview?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, Becca started it first, so I just had to do the next round. But no, she's always been my best friend. And I know she has, girls that are best friends and things like that, but she's always been my best friend. Mm-hmm. And she can look at me in the eye and be like, "Stop being dumb." You're being really like stubborn about this. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll just get over it." She's like, "Yeah, you better." So, it's just that love that she can do that. And I'm not going to get angry at her for it, but I'm like, she's telling me the truth. And, you can't find that anywhere, especially right now.
Yeah.
And that's, we're in it to win it, and we're in it for the long haul, and trying to be the example for our kids, through the thick and thin and the fun and not fun and things like that. So
Yeah, I love that so much. Oh my gosh. How are you gonna top that, Kia?
How am I supposed to?
I'll see you guys
How am I
later.
supposed to top that?
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Oh my
Go
goodness.
brew some more tea. I'll be right back, guys.
So we have known each other for that long, and it's been so amazing because I think we have something different than other people have. I think that we have been able to watch each other grow, and we've literally been there from the loss of a parent to the loss of grandparents to loss of our own babies. Like we have been through everything our entire lives together. And this man and his servant heart, just his willingness to just be such an amazing husband and a dad. And I think, as I alluded earlier, he's a fantastic host, and inviting people into our home to stay even just for a night, and just
for people we don't even know.
Yeah.
We may have met him like one night. Be like, yeah, come on down. We're just take care of.
Yeah. But he's just got such a heart of what can I do for others and how can I fulfill a need, that needs to be met. And so, just that is like my favorite thing about him, and just his willingness to love me and love our children and love our home. So, and to do crazy things like, here, we're going to do this Flosstube thing together and you're going to like it.
Right?
Yeah, hey, we're gonna add another thing to the business called YouTube, and
Yes.
go ahead and teach other people how to use YouTube, and
Yes.
yeah, things like that. So it's been a journey. It's been something that very proud of. There's been ups and downs in this business, and we've got each other. So it's something awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. Like you. I'm an emotional person, so that got me, because it's like, clearly you can see how much you mean to each other and how much you love each other, and oh my gosh. And I love
Thank
that.
you.
I love since 7. And
Yeah.
so when you said that she's got like other women or whatever as best friends, like you're a different level of best friend, because my husband, we haven't known each other nearly as long, but we moved so quickly from the first date to when we got married was within a few months, and now it's been 23 years. He's on a different level of a best friend than like my girlfriends and everything else. So I think I totally understand that you're on a different level, but you guys are
I accept that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm competing against.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about competing against Stephanie here. Like, let's be real clear here. So
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a different kind of,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right, Becca.
Yeah.
I think it's a different kind of love. It's a different kind of friendship.
100%.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. We're like role models in like couple.
Oh, don't
goals
say that.
and
That's
everything.
too much pressure.
Way too much pressure.
No.
All right. Well, don't post this then.
Okay, so the next question, we're going to get back into stitching a little bit. And this is, how do you prefer to stitch? Do you use a hoop, a Q-snap, a frame, anything like that?
I use a hoop. I've tried a lot of different things, but I use a hoop. I really like, what are they, Hardwick whoops? Hardwick hoops. I really like those. They're so expensive. So I did try Nerge hoops, which Joann's was carrying for a very short time, and now they don't anymore, but I bought every size that they had when they were carrying them, and I really like them a lot. I do enjoy them. Some people don't like the creases they make, but I just find a little bit of steam, it takes it out, it's totally fine. Yeah.
Nice.
It depends on the project. If we're talking about like an All Souls band piece, or Twin Peak Primitives first Thanksgiving, it's a huge piece, right? It has to be on a stand of some sort.
Yeah, I do use a stand too.
So I can see the bigger picture of what is going on, because those are big pieces.
Mhm.
With smaller pieces, I just use a Q-snap and something portable. And right now I'm doing Plum Street. What is it called? Abominable package. It's the Yeti and Bigfoot.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
So we started a sal that has not been, well, as of right now, it would be posted
Okay.
with Mr. Ale and Ada, Chris. He's doing Bigfoot, I'm doing the Yeti, and it's just one of those things that we just have it in a small pack and we just take it out and start stitching it and things like that. But it really depends on how big the project is and how big the equipment has to be with it, because my stand that Kia just bought me, the thing is huge and it's tall. I can put my iPad in it and my floss and things like that. It's like, that's probably one of those big projects.
Yeah.
So
I just use an Elan stand from Artisan Designs, and I really enjoy the lap stand, and I really, really enjoy throwing my stitching in it.
Yeah, and it collapses and it's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really here. It's sitting right here. It's real thin.
Oh, I
and
love that. Yeah.
nice, and oh, I love it.
The woodworking is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a
And
lap
it fits
stand,
hoops
too.
or Q snaps, whatever you want to do. So there's adapters. It's fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a preferred fabric that you kind of lean towards? I know you like the you like the tiny holes.
Yeah,
I do.
She sure does.
I really enjoy 40 count or higher.
Yep.
My sweet spot is between 45 and 48, but I really like 53, 63 count. Like I do really enjoy it. I've got a long dog on it right now, and I do enjoy it a lot. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I enjoy it. And so, yeah. So 40 count or higher for me, but I do enjoy the higher stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, 40 count is high, but
yeah,
some people are like, 40 count is high now.
Yeah, it's I like to dabble.
Yeah.
I started with, I don't know, 20 count Ada, and went to Evenweave 32, and then went to
you started with 14 count Ada.
Sorry, 14 count Ada, then 32 Evenweave. I'm like, cool. I've Evenweave, and then went to linen. My first linen piece was when we were model stitching for Sue Hillis, which that was stress. That was a bunch of stress that I did not need.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, it's linen. I'm like, cool, it's Evenweave in my head, because I'm a novice in this. And Kia's like, no, it's like true linen. I'm like, oh, cool. We're gonna deal with those bulges and those that don't know if this is a complete
slubs,
1/2 or what's going on here.
Yep.
Yeah, and and when you just try things and you dabble and you see what you like, what you don't like, and you getting these fabric subscription, monthly subscription things, you kind of get different colors and things like that. We went crazy on a couple of different colors. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I'll never stitch anything on it. To the point that I had a comment like a year ago, like, for me, I don't stitch anything fun. So I picked out like the most radical color scheme that I had, and it says be stitchy. And I'm like, here we go. I did something radical.
Someone made a comment.
Here's some color.
Yeah, I was like not a fun stitcher or something like that. I'm like, all right, I'll stitch anything, but it's something I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So I did like radical tie-dye and got a bright yellow, can't even remember what it is, like a golden color. I'm like, be stitch me, or be stitchy, and it's right there, and I was done with it. But yeah, it's just I try everything, and I don't have a preference. I'll stitch on anything.
You gotta stitch what you love.
You do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Who cares if you like your neutrals or whatever it is? Stitch what you love.
If you love it and you can display it in your house, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, is that do what you love and stitch what you love.
Do it a lot.
And do it a lot. And it's hard to do a project when you're doing it for someone else that you're not really enjoying. Like, it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Understandable. So do you have a favorite place that you guys have traveled, and did you bring stitching along when you went?
My favorite place that we travel to, well, I mean, we would travel there more frequently if we could, is Gatlinburg. I know it's somewhere not far away from us. It's 6 hours, but I just love the mountains. I love cabins. We have a specific cabin we love to stay in. Our kids love it. And we've gotten to the point with Gatlinburg where we don't have to do all the touristy stuff every time. And it is just relaxing. And, we do the homeschool things that we want to do there. And that's the beauty of homeschooling, is that we can go whenever we want to. But, we do the Ripley's Aquarium and we do things like that. But it's gotten to the point where it's just relaxing for us. And so the last time we went, I did not take my stitching. I took planner stuff, but I did not take my stitching. But I can assure you, if we go again, stitching is next up.
I think if we go anywhere now, like we're going for a day or two, I'm going to grab a project.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can pretty much stitch anywhere. besides in the car that it's moving. Because I thought I could do this. I'm like, yeah, I can knock out stitching in a car. No, I can't.
No.
But no, we go out of town to our yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
We usually go to our grandfather's house in the middle of nowhere, and I'm on that wraparound porch just stitching
all day outside.
All day outside. And yeah.
Breeze blowing. Where's your favorite place you traveled?
Favorite place I've traveled was Puerto Rico.
Nice.
With you.
Yes, we did get to go.
Yes, but that was pre-stitching days. That was before Tech Guy, and that's before Kia B and all that stuff.
Nice.
So we were able to go to Puerto Rico together and have fun there and enjoy it.
Nice. That's fun. Good memories.
Yeah.
So what can you not do without for your stitching? Like your favorite go-to must-have besides, linen, thread, and needles, that kind of basics.
So I'm going to cheat a little bit here because my favorite go-to is actually a bag that holds all my favorite go-tos.
Oh, very cool.
So a few years ago, I made a sew together bag. And if you're not familiar with this, it is a bag that when you open it up has several zippers. And so it has like everything I could possibly need in here. It's got a plethora of needle minders and needles and rulers and marking tools and an Ort thing and scissors and everything. So this is like my go-to, and it has handles on the end, so it's really easy to take it and go.
It's like a Mary Poppins bag.
It is a Mary Poppins.
Yeah, that is so cool.
So much stuff fits in this Mary Poppins bag.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I cheat a little bit because my one thing is actually several things, but
hey,
how am I supposed to top that?
I know. Good luck.
I can't. I don't have a go-to other than I can just put it in a project bag and go.
Okay.
Simpler the better for me. I don't need to have a huge setup. I don't have to have. I can be on the corner in a room and stitch. I don't like it freehand. I don't know how people do that. God bless them to do that, but I can't do it. I just can't. I can't coordinate how to have stretching the fabric and putting the needle in, and I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I can't do it. If I have to, I'll do a hoop. But it's just put it in a project. If it can fit in a project bag, I'm ready to go, and I'll be good to go. And as long as there's good sunlight somewhere, I'm good.
So maybe project bag, because if it fits in the project bag, you're good to go. So
there you go.
Yes.
There you go. That works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Love it. So this is always a fun one. I'm always curious to see how everybody kind of works, I guess. Is how do you decide on what you're going to work on next?
I think for you, it's just feelings.
It's a bunch of feelings. And going back to that emotional stitcher piece, if it's something that I have a good friendship with, or like I, scroll through someone's Instagram and I'm like, all right, cool, I've got an idea, I'm going to go do it. Or there's a designer that I've reached out to and we've formed a bond with, and she's like, hey, I'm going to send this to you. I'm like, fantastic. I'll go ahead and start stitching.
Well, like the twins, your relationship with the twins.
Just recently had a meeting with the twins from Twin Peak Primitives, and those ladies are super talented. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. And they're my ladies. Like our personalities just mesh well. They're great folks. We talked, I think we talked for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it was,
if they weren't halfway around the world, I would be concerned.
They're his ladies.
So, yeah.
They are wonderful.
They're wonderful and they're sweet and they're generous. And, and just one of those people that you can just, it's more than just a relationship on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than a relationship through a text message, and I had a phenomenal time talking to these ladies.
So you were stitching them
and I'm stitching first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it was just, these relationships that we can build, and it's beyond social media, is so like concrete.
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just a hi or bye, which there's people out there, which is fantastic. But when you form those awesome friendships and those awesome relationships that you just are invested in, it's good to reflect that in your stitching. Mm-hmm. So when I'm stitching something, I'm reflecting on our friendship. I'm reflecting on our conversations. I'm reflecting, hey, how are you doing? Like things like that. And that's why I pick up these projects.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually did March Madness this year for the first time. And in the year 2021, I decided I will have no new starts, except for I have 5 allotments for the year. One is that constant Sal I have going with Stephanie. And then I had 3 market allotments, because our hearts are to come alongside designers to help promote, to help, get them out there and things like that. And so I did March Madness for the first time this year with current whips that I have. And I used that bracket and did an 8 team single elimination bracket. And I got so much work done in March. And I talked about this on our last Flosstube, that I was just going to continue to do that. And so it's, we're only a little bit into April when we're filming this, and it's working really well for me. So in April, I did 4 team elimination, because then it gave me a little bit more time to work on some bigger pieces. And then I will get as much done on the team that won, the whip that won. I will get as much done until the end of the month that I possibly can. And so I really enjoy that kind of bracket
feel
layout.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing.
Oh, I love that idea. Most people
and
are
then
just
and then I just do a decision wheel, and I don't have
okay.
to decide what the next thing is. At the beginning of the month, I pick whatever whips are going to go in the bracket, and then I just use a decision wheel on my phone to tell me which one wins on to the next round.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like no pressure.
It is 0 pressure, and I don't have to make any decisions. It's wonderful.
Right. Yep, it's all done for you. Yeah, because
Yes.
most people just say, whatever calls to them or whatever is like right there within reach. So I love both of your answers are, different than all the other ones, but it's just another way for people to kind of, try your way and see if it works for them. Because I'm still trying to figure out how to do my stitching, I guess, you know what I mean? So I love doing these and hearing all the different answers. I love it.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, this has been an absolutely awesome interview. We are down to the last question.
Oh, so soon.
Yeah, so soon. And it's, what's the best thing that has happened to you? And we're going to say within the past, couple of years or recently or whatever, however you want to answer it.
Yeah.
I feel, an emotional guy, that our business has taken so many different avenues that we're doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't a expectation of what's failure and what's success. And that has probably brought a lot of joy and tears and some adversity that we were able to overcome together as a team. And dust ourselves off and get back up again and be there for each other, because at the end of the day, we got to do what we need to do for each other. And I couldn't have a better business partner in this aspect. I couldn't have a better sounding board, and really it's just her dream, and we're just trying to go through it. So
I love that.
Wow. We have been
tears.
Oh my goodness, this is an emotional roller coaster of an interview. We have been super blessed in our YouTube part of our business, and the fact that we're 4 years in, over 30,000 subscribers, which just in my mind is mind-boggling.
It's insane.
And so something that I would say is just so exciting is we were just able to buy a long arm quilting machine. And so for quilters out there, will understand what that means. For everyone else who may not know, so it is basically a 10-foot sewing machine, 10, 12, 8. I mean, you can get them in different increments, but it's a 10-foot sewing machine that will basically do all of your top stitching that you see, the intricate stitching on top of quilts that kind of bind them all together. And we were just able to purchase that 2 weeks ago. And so it got delivered into our home this week. I've been playing with it. I'm absolutely terrible at it, but just as you start everything new, it will get better. And so I just think it's super exciting that never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that we would get to a point in our business where that would be a possibility for me and for us. And so, I've cried a lot of tears this week as it's come in and they've set it up, and he walked away, didn't take it with him. And I was like, oh, it's really mine. I woke up the next day and I was like, guys, this is a real thing. It was still here when I woke up. And so that's just been something super exciting for us that we've been able to take another step in our business.
And if I can add one more thing, is the people again. It comes back to the people that we've met, like you, Becca. It's the people that we've interacted with. It's the people that we enjoy spending time with. It's the people that we care so deeply about their business, and we care deeply about their designs, and we want to help anybody out there, to the point that, you know, we started teaching at market last year, just to help other people understand where we're at, and how to get there. And I'm not saying that we have the answers, but we're willing to be alongside of you to grow. Yeah.
We taught a YouTube analytics class. And so I alluded to that a little earlier. We do kind of a deep study of YouTube analytics and what that means for each channel. And so we were able to teach that last year, which was really fun and interesting.
Yeah. Wow. I'll have to look more into that. I love, definitely look more into that. But no, I love all your hard work, you know, has paid off where, I mean, I know long arm machines are not cheap. I'm not a quilter or anything, but you know, I understand that. And I understand how, you know, you feel accomplished and you just feel like, you know, it's mine. So I totally get that feeling. That's amazing. And that's going to expand your business even more.
Exactly. Sometimes I just sit in my studio and just stare at it and like, what do I do with this thing?
I do not blame you one bit. I don't blame you one bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I have to tell her to stop staring at the sewing machine and maybe stare at me once in a while. And somehow she doesn't hear my voice. So
no. Give her some time. Give her some time.
I know. It's just a fling of the week. I understand. No, it's been awesome, and be able to acquire something like that is huge in our business.
Yeah, that's
and,
huge.
It's very, very humbling at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this has been beyond an amazing interview for celebrating both of our anniversaries, is what I'm going to say. We've learned so much more about you. I am so honored to have been able to spend time with you guys and really get to know you even better. You guys put yourself out there, and thank you. Thank you for just taking time out of your days. I know you guys are super busy. So so this is amazing.
Thank you so much. My cheeks hurt from smiling from ear to ear.
I know, right?
My eyes are dry though. My eyes are dry.
Well, thank you so much for having this. This has just been amazing. And it's taken us a long time to get it on the books, but we are here and it's amazing. So
yeah, I'm excited. So, but
all right.
We'll say bye to everybody on Flosstube.